All right, this is the internals of the Polar Star jack conversion of the Matrix / S&T MG42 that I have been working on the past couple days, and it has been a pain. I did manage to get everything working. Most of the work was done down here in the lower section of the gearbox, redoing all the wiring and getting it to agree with the FCU and jack engine. Now, the way I did this was I maintained the original trigger unit, and some of the wiring here. As you can see, I've done some soldering. The main parts that I used for this are the universal plug board right here, this guy, the Polar Star bare lead, the 2-pin bare lead, so that I could solder it all the way through, solder it up to the contacts here on the trigger unit, a 18-inch wire harness, just so I can wire this back up to the stock, give me some more room for the battery and FCU, and the PTS Masada length nozzle for the jack. I'm not sure what number that is, but it's whatever the Masada one is. As for what I had to do is I took the plug board here after gutting this entire bottom section. I took the plug board. As you can see, the wire harness is going into the center 5-pin slot. It's the only one it can go in. It's pretty straightforward. This is going to connect to my FCU. As for the other 4 controllers, little slots here, I have the, I believe it's the Poppet slot, which is Con 2 on the plug board. That is plugged into the jack, so the solenoid wire is plugged into Con 2. And then I have the bare lead plugged into Con 4, which is your trigger control. So what that'll do is it'll take the signal sent from the trigger making contact and tell the gun to fire, essentially. Now, as far as the trigger goes, the way this guy works is it's basically just a lever that will, let me focus here, is just a lever that will push this little plastic button, this guy right here. So it pushes that just a little bit, and there's these 2 metal pieces. When the metal on metal makes contact, it'll fire, as you can hear. Now, that plastic piece will also hit this micro switch here. That micro switch is wired all the way through. It's this curly guy over here, all the way around into the magazine. Basically all that does is that switch tells the magazine motor down there to spin. So when you pull the trigger, 2 things happen. You need to make sure you pull it all the way, otherwise you'll just fire. You won't feed the magazine. So you pull it all the way, and it's going to get loud, and it will both shoot and rotate the mag. Now, I'm yet to do any electronic tuning, but in order to get this to feed consistently, probably going to have to run a fairly high DP setting, likely above 50 something, and I'll adjust the rate of fire as I go to match that of the magazine. I'd imagine that's a pretty important part, because this magazine feeds at a set rate, and you don't want it to feed too fast to jam, and if it's feeding too slow, you're going to get skipping where it's not keeping up with the jack. Now, as far as everything else goes, I have the Airline, a amped IGL, just the standard one for the jack, screwed into the back here. Now, when this is assembled, this will run just straight through the center here, and I've dremeled out a nice big hole for it to fit through, so it'll stick right out of the bottom of the motor grip. And that's pretty much everything. So the main difficulty is putting it all back together as you have your upper and your lower wired together, but you need to put them into the gun separately. It's probably one of the main issues of this build, but this is a functional test. As far as electronics go and wiring goes, it works. It'll shoot and it'll feed.